Here now on the life and legacy of Senator Graham is South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. Senator, good morning to you.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning.
So I know you guys were really, really close. You spent 13 years in the Senate together. You invited him to your wedding. You described him as a part of your family. This news came down in the middle of the night. How did you find out, and how are you remembering your friend this morning?
Well, I first got the call at 3 a.m. or so from Marco Rubio, who got through my do not disturb somehow, and I was thinking to myself, what in the world does Marco want? And he said, Lindsey's gone. And I was just misunderstood what he meant, and he said, he's dead, Tim. And it's hard to put in words something that is so shocking and unbelievable in the middle of the night. And very quickly thereafter, I looked at my phone and I had been getting texts for hours about the possibility of Lindsey being gone. And the realization sinking in was like this pit in your stomach that just still hasn't gone away yet. But you know that there's things that must be done. I spoke with his sister. I spoke with our friends around the state. Certainly spoke with Trey Gowdy and then the president, who both played golf with Lindsey, it seemed like every weekend. And we all miss him dearly. And he's irreplaceable in the Senate. He bridged the gap with Republicans, and sometimes he even built a bridge for the Republicans in the Senate and the president. When there were disagreements, he would be the guy that would bring all of us together. But as a person, I just miss my friend. And it's hard to put in words how much he meant to me as a guy that embraced me when I first got to the Senate. He was always there through the challenges. And I've told the story several times, but I'll just tell it one more time that, I started a prayer breakfast, a South Carolina prayer breakfast in D.C., and I called Lindsey and said, Lindsey, I know you're not a morning person, but I sure would love for you to be there at 8:30 on Wednesday morning. And he says, son, if Jesus comes before 10 a.m., I ain't coming. And so who walks in the door at 8:31? Lindsey Graham. He was committed to his friends. Even when he didn't want to show up because it was too early, you could count on Lindsey being there for his friends. And the good news for America, Lindsey saw this nation as a part of his family. And he worked night and day. President Trump got it right. He was a workaholic, not as a politician, as a statesman. For what? Because he believed in America. And as you guys have already said, Bill and Jillian, the intro to Lindsey Graham, he was not a self-made person. It was his family, his friends, his neighbors, and his God that made all the difference in his world.
Senator, I had the privilege of talking to you just about 24 hours ago now. A lot of people, including, I think you and I both, were still in shock at the time. Fully one day later, we've had a little bit of time to reflect on the senator's passing and begin to absorb it. One of the things that stands out to me about this is he passed away in the thick of it all. He was doing 10 different things at once. He had just returned from this foreign policy trip to Ukraine, as you know well, sir. He was trying to manage the SAVE Act back here at home. He really passed at a moment when he was flourishing and at his peak.
Absolutely. His decision always led to consequential outcomes for the party, for people, and frankly for the world. And you just named a few things. Save America Act, incredibly important to those of us, both Republicans and Democrats, frankly, support voter ID, eliminating mail-in ballots to a large extent, and making it impossible for folks who are not American citizens to vote in American elections. These are things that we call common sense. But he was also a global traveler. He wanted to find a way to diffuse the war that Russia started against Ukraine. He wanted to make sure that Iran never became a nuclear power. Why? Because it's nearly impossible to negotiate with a nuclear power. He also understood, because of the first JCPOA, that you cannot make a good deal with a bad actor, and that's why he embraced the concept of peace through strength. Lindsey Graham found himself in the midst of some of the most consequential decisions we'll make in the next 20 years, and it will reverberate for the rest of our lives. Jillian, you're a youngster, and so that means it will reverberate for a long, long time to come. but he loved America because he loved Americans.
It's certainly going to be a strange feeling being on the Hill and not seeing him around. He'd always come up to the cameras and be willing to talk to us about anything, especially after those Senate lunches where I know he had a big impact in there trying to get everybody to come together. Senator Tim Scott, thank you so much for coming on this morning and honoring the life of your friend, and we're so sorry for your loss.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Jillian. God bless y'all.